Hello everyone, welcome back to the series where I rank all the Studio Series Transformers. And this is part 3 of that said series. If you haven't watched the other 2 parts, I would recommend you guys watch those first and then get back to this one. And we will continue ranking Studio Series Transformers by taking a look at the next 10. Starting off with the Studio Series 26 World War II Bumblebee. Luckily, I was able to take a break from Bumblebees. So now I should be all good to look at this with a unbiased and calm approach. And I'm not too sure what to think about this. The robot mode does look very good. The detail is amazing, but the transformation is not good. It is a complete shell former, and the vehicle mode is so flat. There is no detail whatsoever, which is very strange because the vehicle mode contrasts the robot mode so much. So the only thing saving this figure is how good it looks in the robot mode and the concept, I guess. So I can't really place him that high, and I'll put him at the end of D tier. Following that Bumblebee, we have another Bumblebee, the 27 Clunker Bumblebee, which is exactly the same as the first Studio Series figure, the 01 Bumblebee, but this one is just covered in poop. But, not gonna lie, it does work. I see the vision with the rust details, and I do think it's a nice touch. I still have the same issues as before though, where all the joints are really loose, and it's not really that fun to play with. So my ranking really doesn't change, so I'll put him just above the 01 Bumblebee. They're exactly the same. The figure we are going to talk about next is a figure that I was so excited for. Barricade was a character that I played so much in the very first Transformers DS game. It was my childhood and I just loved playing him and all the cast really, but especially Barricade. I just thought he was so cool. And I don't know why the icon for Barricade in that game was completely different than the Barricade we got in the movie. But regardless, I really wanted a figure of Barricade, and I just had to wait years because I missed out on the original and I was not gonna buy the Masterpiece version. It was too expensive for me. So I was so excited to be able to finally get a Barricade figure after all these years. Unfortunately, he let me down.
Is immeasurable.
Robot mode is okay. It is lacking a bit of paint, but overall it is okay. He does pull it off. Vehicle mode is okay as well, but transformation is literally impossible. It is so annoying and it's horrible getting everything just locked in for the vehicle mode, and it's just not fun at all. It's also hard to pose, and the clear plastic holding the back of mine cracked, so it's so loose and it just keeps popping off during transformation. It's not a very fun figure, and I didn't really play with him that much. I was expecting him to be my desk toy for weeks just because of how much I wanted him. But to be honest, I just played with him for one day and I never touched him again. It is not fun at all. I am just so let down by this Barricade. Just because he didn't live up to my expectations, I am putting him in F. He could have done so much better. My childhood is ruined because of this figure. However, to contrast that, our next deluxe class is pretty good. It is 29 Sideswipe, and I really want this figure. I think he looks so cool, and I really like the arm blades. They pulled off the wheel feet as well, and the amount of silver paint, especially on the vehicle mode, looks so clean. It's really good. But I do prefer the paint on the other Sideswipe, especially in the robot mode, because this one, it does seem to be a bit plain in the robot mode. But regardless, it is a very cool character with what looks to be a very fun figure. So I think he is better than Jazz. I'll put him right here. Hopefully I can get one of these for a reasonable price. I saw one back in the day for normal price and I regret not getting it so much. The market is actually crazy for some of these figures. It is not fun. Next up we have Crankcase. It is exactly the same as the crowbar that I took a look at in the first part. So if you want my opinion on it, just refer to that part. However, this figure is very disappointing. I wanted him to have at least some differences in the mold, or maybe a new head sculpt. It's not even accurate to the actual character as well. It seems like they were very, very lazy with this figure. They could have just given us the Last Night version, like the one with the different head sculpt and these spikes at the back, but they were so lazy they couldn't even be bothered. And just for that, I will put him lower than Crowbar. What? Than Crowbar. Right. Right here. I might rearrange the tier a bit. Okay, yeah, Stinger's fine. Actually, no, I'll move Stinger up to C. Yeah, hopefully that's okay. And I'll put Shadow Raider here. Yeah. Okay, should be fine. Actually, I'll move up the World War II Bumblebee a bit. It does seem pretty solid, whereas Ratchet is very loose. I'll move him up one more. We'll leave it like that for now. And we will talk about the next one. The battle damaged Megatron. So the main issue I had with the Studio Series 13 Megatron was that it was so plain. It is completely bare. And this one finally fixed it. They actually gave him some paint. It's metallic, it's black, it's gold, it's rusty, and it's nice. They actually painted him. It does bring out the detail, and I do think it works. It might be just me. I think the colors are a bit off. There's just something about it that doesn't look right. So I will still put him high, because I think it's just a me problem. But let me know if you think that the colors are a bit off as well. And I think I'll bring the original Megatron down here. I think Ironhide is better. Next up, we have the best Bayverse Optimus Prime, the 32 Optimus Prime. It is a very nice robot mode. It's very fun. He is my go-to figure for just posing around and size comparisons. It has also a very fun transformation and an okay truck mode. He does have a few flaws though, where the gun doesn't really hold in place, the wheels don't really tab in the truck mode and the robot mode, and the grille in the truck doesn't stick together, doesn't hold together that well. So overall, it is a solid figure, but it doesn't really blow me away. So it's good, but it's nothing special. So I feel like it belongs at the top of B tier. We have Bonecrusher. And Bonecrusher is also another figure that I've wanted for so long. I've always thought that the concept was pretty cool. I just like the character as a whole, where his Masterpiece figure was actually the first Masterpiece figure that I got that was recent, and I didn't wait like a couple of years to get him. So from that, you guys could tell that I really do like Bonecrusher. And so when I was finally able to get the mold, by the way, this is the Nest version of Bonecrusher. Just pretend that it's the original version. I don't even like this color, but there's no way I'm buying the original. It's way too expensive. And my first impression of this mold is that he is so small. I was actually pretty sad by how small he was. It sort of ruins his imposing nature of his character. Like, I wanted him to be sort of intimidating, imposing, and scary, but he's so small that it doesn't really work. He's even smaller than his original deluxe class figure, despite being at a Voyager price point. Besides the size, it is a pretty good figure, it is pretty fun, and transformation is also fun, but the backpack doesn't really tab in, and it is pretty loose and can get quite annoying. So it is a good figure. The biggest issue is just that he is tiny. So I do think it's better than average. Yeah, he belongs at the end of B tier. There are some figures that I know are objectively bad. But regardless, there is just sometimes something unexplainable that draws me into them. And Studio Series 34 Dark of the Moon Megatron is a prime example of this. Yes. The robot mode is way too blocky in so many areas. The paint could use a bit of work, and the posability is not the best, and the truck is so hollow at the front. But it just has that aura and presence that he just draws my eyes in every time I look in his direction. The blockiness does work in a way to make him look more buff and more intimidating. The cloak is just so cool, and it brings me back to my emo phase. And I am still in shock after so many years that this guy is able to turn into a long, skinny truck, because he's just so big and wide and buff. The engineering on this guy is pretty cool. It's so cool that I could forgive the hollowness in the truck cap. So, I'm sorry, but I will place him high. It is just my personal opinion. I think it's better than Starscream as well, which might be a bit sacrilegious in some of your eyes, but it's just my personal bias to him. Maybe it is because I am just nostalgic. I've always wanted the Voyager class Mech-Tech Megatron, but I never got it. We just saw that a figure was able to be really good, despite it not being that accurate. But don't get me wrong, there are figures that are amazing and accurate too. And Studio Series Jetfire is one of them. It is such an amazing figure. It looks so good. It's so solid, there's so many ratchets, it's so big, and the jet mode is almost perfect. And I know I just said that it is accurate, but the only thing not accurate with it is the face. But in my opinion, it's all good. I think that this, not gonna lie, does look better than the movie one. But yeah, it's just such a nice figure. It's just amazing and so unique and so fun. It's a really, really good leader class. The only issues I have with this figure is the head underneath the jet, and that some parts are a bit loose. And I think it's just a me problem, but I do have 2 breakages on this figure. I think I just wasn't treating him that carefully, and I was just messing around with him too hard. But I was pretty sad when he broke. I did try to fix him. Yeah, it did not work. It did not work at all. But besides that, I feel like this is a monumental figure. It was so hyped, and it did live up to that hype. It is amazing. And on top of that, it also combines with Optimus Prime. It is really good. So I will put him in S tier, our second S tier Transformer. If you can get him, I definitely recommend him, but he's just so expensive now, so get the knockoff of him. The reason why I put him in S tier, despite mine being broken, is because I think that it's not really a common issue. But let me know in the comment section if your copy has also broken in the same areas. And if there are quite a few people saying that, I will have no choice but to bring him down a few ranks. So here is our updated list for part 3 of me ranking Studio Series Transformers. So we have covered Studio Series Transformers from 01 all the way up to 35. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.